It began on a quiet night. No one knew that the world was about to end. The sky over the Pacific Ocean shimmered with strange light, thin, silver lines cutting across the stars. At first, people thought they were meteors. Cameras turned upward. Phones streamed the sight live. Across social media, words spread like wildfire, the sky rain. But the streaks didn't fall. They stopped. Midi. Then they began to hum. A deep sound, not like thunder, not like wind, rolled across oceans and continents. Birds took flight. Dogs barked. Windows trembled. The lights in cities flickered, then died. The world fell into darkness. Somewhere in California, a young boy named Ethan stood on his rooftop with his father. "Are those planes?" he whispered. His father, a former Air Force mechanic, didn't answer. He could see the shapes now. Not stars, not meteors, but machines. They were massive, sharp-edged, and wrong. Then came the first flash. Above the ocean, one of the silver shapes opened like a flower. A storm of blue light burst outward, followed by silence. A silence so deep that even the waves seemed to stop moving. Then, from the center of that glowing storm, something descended. A black ship the size of a city. It drifted downward without wings, without sound. The clouds swirled around it like a whirlpool. And beneath it, the water boiled. News networks went crazy. In London, anchors tried to stay calm, calling it an atmospheric event. In Beijing, scientists said it might be a new type of meteor. In Washington, the Pentagon went dark. Satellite images vanished. Communications failed. The world watched in fear and confusion until the first ship fired. A beam of red energy struck the ocean's surface and carved a hole straight into the sea. Steam exploded upward like a volcano. Ships near the blast vanished in seconds. Then came another beam, and another. They weren't attacking humans yet. They were searching. A small island near Indonesia disappeared in a flash of light. What came after made the world realize this wasn't an accident. Giant drilling towers, black, twisting machines, fell from the alien ships like spears. They struck into the ground, digging fast, sending tremors through the earth. Earth crust screamed. In Jakarta, buildings shook. Glass shattered. In Tokyo, sensors detected deep vibrations beneath the ocean floor. Across the globe, geologists saw one word blinking on their screens: extraction. The aliens weren't here to conquer. They were here to mine. Inside an underground base in Nevada, alarms blared. General Marcus Hale, commander of Earth Defense Command, stared at the radar feed. 27 unknown ships. Zero communication. Zero identification. "I was sure it's not human," an officer asked. "Those aren't any human engines," Hale said coldly. "Look at the patterns. They are digging. They are after something under us." So, what could they want from Earth's crust? Hale didn't answer, but deep down, he already knew. Decades ago, during secret experiments, scientists had discovered traces of a mysterious metal, beryllium, hidden deep within the planet's mantle. It was believed to be older than Earth itself, brought by an asteroid billions of years ago. It could bend energy, amplify radiation, and possibly power a civilization forever. Earth never learned how to use it, but someone else had. And now they had come back for it. The next 24 hours were chaos. The alien ships positioned themselves over key regions: South America, the Indian Ocean, Siberia, and the Atlantic Ridge. Each ship dropped hundreds of smaller drones that spread like locusts, drilling, harvesting, burning. Every military base on the planet went on high alert. Fighter jets scrambled. Missiles launched. But when the first rockets hit the alien shields, they exploded harmlessly, as if swallowed by air. Human weapons did nothing. By the second day, Jakarta was gone. Half of its coastline melted under alien fire. Cities along the Pacific Rim began evacuation. The sky turned dark from ash and falling debris. But something else began to move, something that no alien intelligence had planned for. Human anger. Ordinary people, soldiers, miners, mechanics, hackers, pilots, began to fight back in their own ways. A group of engineers in Poland reprogrammed weather satellites to jam alien scanners. A Russian submarine tried to ram an alien drone. A team of American scientists in New Mexico reactivated an old Cold War system, the Atlas Network, a series of hidden satellites designed to fight nuclear attacks. The system came online with a single message blinking in red. Fury Protocol, standby for human response. In a quiet control room beneath the Nevada desert, General Hale gave the order no one wanted to hear. Activate Fury Protocol. Sir, that's not being used in. I know. Do it. Across the world, secret bunkers powered up. Military satellites turned their sensors toward the alien fleet. Hidden air bases, long abandoned, came alive with engines and fire. It was no longer about defense. It was survival. And somewhere in the chaos, among the fear and falling cities, one truth became clear. The aliens had made a mistake. They thought Earth was treasure. They thought humanity was weak. But they didn't understand what humans became when pushed to the edge. They didn't understand that when the sky broke, something fierce woke up beneath it. The invasion had begun, but so had humanity's fury. The world was burning. Cities that once shone with light were now silent fields of smoke. The alien drills kept tearing into the earth, glowing with blue fire as they dug for the treasure buried deep below. Oceans steamed. Forests turned to glass. And humanity, confused, scattered, terrified, tried to understand what had just happened. But in a hidden command center below the Nevada desert, the fight had already begun. General Marcus Hale stood over a holographic map glowing red with impact zones. Around him, officers spoke quickly, their voices sharp with fear. Drill sites confirmed in Siberia, the Pacific, and the Andes. Civilian losses, skip it, Hale said. I need solutions, not numbers. A young technician, pale and shaking, turned to him. Sir, Fury Protocol is online, but it's old tech. We don't even know if it'll still work. Hale's voice was cold. We'll make it work. He turned to the large screen on the wall. It flickered with static, then connected to a dozen other command centers, deep bunkers under old NATO, UN, and Asian defense networks. Faces appeared, generals, scientists, field commanders, even civilian leaders. This is Hale, he said. If you're seeing this, it means Earth is under active invasion. Fury Protocol is now active. Someone spoke from the feed, Colonel Dana Voss, the youngest combat commander in the Earth Defense Command. Her face was calm, but her eyes were sharp. Do we know what they are after? She asked. Hale nodded grimly. Aurelium, the element we buried decades ago under level Omega classification. Gasps rippled through the channels. Aurelium wasn't supposed to exist. Not to the public, not even to most of the military. It was something from a forgotten experiment during the Cold War, when scientists tried to harness the metal's energy. It failed, and the world agreed to hide it forever. Now someone else had come to take it. Across the planet, the first organized counterattack began. In Poland, old missile silos opened for the first time in 30 years. The rockets launched into the sky, leaving white trails across the clouds, but when they reached the alien ships, their explosions vanished in silent flashes. Alien shields shimmered like liquid glass. In Tokyo Bay, the Japanese Navy tried to fire railguns directly into a drilling site. The rounds hit, but bounced off like pebbles. Human weapons were useless. But humans were not. Colonel Voss gathered a team of scientists, engineers, and soldiers in an underground hangar. If their shields are made of energy, she said, pointing at the hologram of an alien ship, then we attack what powers it. The energy has to come from somewhere. A scientist named Dr. Lin looked up. Aurelium, she whispered. They're channeling it already. That's why their shields are unbreakable. They're using the same energy they're digging for. So if we interrupt the flow? Voss asked. Dr. Lin nodded. They fall. It was a small hope, but humanity didn't have many left. While plans formed underground, above the surface the aliens continued their harvest. In Brazil, whole rainforests disappeared into glowing pits. In Africa, alien machines marched across deserts, drilling into the red sands. The sky was filled with a strange green light, like the aurora, Only this one was made of burning fuel and plasma. And in orbit, the Atlas network, Earth's hidden eye, came back online. A forgotten relic of the old world, Atlas was a cluster of satellites built to survive nuclear war. It had no weapons, only sensors and codes. But in the hands of human engineers, it became a weapon of information. Atlas tracked every alien movement. It calculated energy patterns. It mapped weak points. And for the first time since the invasion began, Earth had eyes again. General Hale gathered his officers in the war room. Atlas data confirms a command node inside the largest alien ship, he said. It's controlling every drone and drill on the planet. Voss studied the feed. Then we hit it. Hale stared at her. With what? We can't reach orbit. Their shields would vaporize us before we got close. Voss smiled slightly, not from joy, but from defiance. Then we don't go through the shields. We go inside them. She explained her plan, an infiltration strike. Small teams launched using stealth shuttles, built from old space cargo vehicles. They would attach themselves to the alien hull, cut through, and sabotage the core manually. It was impossible, but it was also the only chance humanity had. Hale looked at her for a long moment. If we fail, the planet burns. Voss didn't blink. Then we don't fail. Night fell again across the burning Earth. The world's cities glowed orange under alien lights. But underground, hope flickered. Old factories in Detroit began building armored drones from scrap metal. In the Himalayas, monks carried wounded soldiers into mountain caves turned into hospitals. In Paris, artists turned resistance posters into coded messages for hidden fighters. Humanity was changing, no longer divided by borders or flags, now united by one truth. The aliens didn't come for gold. They didn't come for power. They came for something buried, something sacred, and they thought humans were too weak to stop them. But they didn't know what humans became when they fought for their home. As Colonel Voss prepared her ship for launch, she sent one last message to every surviving channel on Earth. Her voice echoed through radios, static-filled televisions, and broken speakers in the ruins of cities. This is Colonel Dana Voss of the Earth Defense Command. We are activating Fury Protocol. We will not surrender. They may have the sky, but we have the ground, and we will make them bleed for every inch of it. The world listened in silence. Then, from the dark corners of the planet, one by one, people began to rise. Mechanics turned engines back on. Soldiers loaded their weapons. Civilians built barricades. Scientists reactivated forgotten machines. Earth had woken up, and somewhere above the clouds, inside his cold alien warship, the enemy commander Vraxin watched the human broadcasts. He tilted his head, his glowing eyes narrowing in confusion. He had seen hundreds of worlds fall without resistance. But this one, this broken, furious world, was fighting back. And that, for the first time in centuries, made him feel something he had forgotten. Uncertainty. The world had changed. Cities were quiet now, not from peace, but from exhaustion. Smoke covered the skies where clouds once lived. Rivers glowed faintly blue from alien machines still drilling deep underground. But humans were still alive, and they were getting angry. In a frozen valley in Siberia, miners worked day and night under the sound of alien drills echoing from miles away. The ground trembled every few minutes. The aliens were searching for Aurelium under the ice. Among the miners was a woman named Irina Kova, once an engineer, now a fighter. Her crew had found an old mine shaft and filled it with explosives. As the next alien harvester descended, its bright blue lights scanning the snow, Irina pressed the detonator. The explosion shook the earth. The alien machine split in two and fell burning into the glacier. Irina watched the wreck sink into ice and whispered, "That's from Moscow." She wasn't alone. Across the world, small groups of survivors were doing the same, striking back however they could. They didn't have tanks or ships. They had courage, old tools, and rage. In Texas, farmers turned tractors into rocket launchers. In India, students hacked alien drones and reprogrammed them to attack their own motherships. In Kenya, hunters used sniper rifles to shoot the sensors off alien scouts. Every small victory mattered. Every destroyed drone meant a message. Humanity isn't done yet. From orbit, the alien commander, Vraxen, studied his screens. His 4 eyes blinked slowly. Primitive resistance, he hissed. They waste energy. They will break. An aide bowed low. Yes, High Commander. Shall we eliminate their centers of activity? Vraxen's voice was calm but cruel. No, let them fight. The weaker ones always burn faster when they believe they can win. But he was wrong. He didn't understand what humans became when they lost everything. Inside the Earth Defense Command bunker, Colonel Dana Voss studied the new data. Atlas satellites, now fully reactivated, were showing strange readings. Alien drill sites were not just digging. They were awakening something beneath the crust. Energy waves pulsed upward, shaking tectonic plates. Dr. Lin, the lead scientist, pointed to the holographic globe. If they keep drilling at this rate, the magnetic field will destabilize. We'll lose the atmosphere within weeks. Voss clenched her fists. So they don't care if the planet dies. They'll strip it clean. General Hale's voice came through the intercom. Colonel, we need to hit them harder. Fury Protocol wasn't just about defense. It was about uniting Earth's hidden power. I'm giving you full command of Operation Stormfire. The name alone sounded dangerous. Voss didn't ask for details. She only said, when do we start? Meanwhile, humanity was learning. In the ruins of Paris, a hacker group called EchoNet discovered that the alien drones were linked through a single transmission frequency. By using captured parts, they built a device that mimicked alien signals. For the first time, humans took control of a small enemy squadron, 10 drones, and turned them against their own kind. When the alien mothership over Europe received the distress signal, it was already too late. The hijacked drones had flown straight into its underbelly and detonated. The explosion lit the night sky for miles. People came out of hiding to watch the fire fall. For the first time in weeks, they smiled. That single act of defiance was broadcast worldwide. It became a symbol, the Paris spark. Colonel Voss watched the footage from her command chair. The room was silent except for the soft hum of machines. They did it without orders, she said quietly. Dr. Lin smiled faintly. They didn't need orders. They needed hope. Voss nodded. Then that's what we'll give them. She opened a global transmission channel. Every surviving network, every hidden base, every underground radio received her message. This is Colonel Voss. Humanity has fought for weeks, and the enemy still bleeds us dry. But they are not gods. They are thieves. And thieves can be beaten. The Atlas network has located their command node. We're preparing a strike. But we need every fighter, every hacker, every hand that can hold a weapon or a wire. This is our planet. And if we fall fighting. The message spread like wildfire. In the mountains of Peru, resistance fighters painted red lightning bolts on their armor, the symbol of fury. In Tokyo, civilians rebuilt broken robots from car parts to act as walking shields. In Australia, deep inside an abandoned mine, engineers tested new energy bombs powered by captured Aurelium fragments. Human creativity, fast, unpredictable, desperate, became the enemy's nightmare. Alien drones began to fall faster. Drills stopped turning. And for the first time since the invasion began, the aliens took losses that mattered. But victory came at a cost. In Mumbai, a resistance unit was wiped out after hijacking an alien energy tower. Over 500 men and women were vaporized when the ship above retaliated. In New York, a squad of pilots launched a counterstrike and never returned. The price of survival was written in ashes and courage. Colonel Voss read every name. She didn't cry, not because she didn't feel, but because she couldn't afford to. She turned to Dr. Lin. How much time until they reach the core? Less than a month, Lin said. If we don't stop them, the planet will fracture. Voss straightened. Then we stop them now. Far above the Earth, High Commander Vraxen listened to intercepted human messages. He leaned back in his black throne made of living metal. His second-in-command spoke carefully. They are organizing, my lord. They adapt faster than expected. Vraxen's eyes narrowed. Then burn their spirit. Target their communication systems. Blind them. The alien ships began releasing new drones, hunters, faster and deadlier than before. They sought out human transmitters, cutting every line of contact. Earth went dark again. But even in silence, the resistance didn't stop. They didn't need orders anymore. They had purpose. Deep under the Nevada desert, Colonel Voss watched the last communication signal vanish from the screens. The room flickered in emergency light. "We've lost contact with half the world," a soldier said. Voss stayed at the dark screens and said softly, "They think darkness will stop us. They are wrong." Outside, the stars shimmered faintly through the smoke-filled sky. Somewhere above them, Vraxen's fleet moved like shadows across the heavens. The real war hadn't even begun yet. But humanity was no longer afraid. They were ready. The world was running out of time. Alien drills had reached deeper into Earth's crust, and the ground itself began to groan. Earthquakes rippled across continents. Volcanoes that had slept for centuries started to wake. In some places, the sky burned red even at noon. Humanity had fought bravely. Resistance groups rose in every corner of the planet, striking back, sabotaging alien harvesters, destroying drones. But it wasn't enough. The aliens didn't need to conquer. They only needed to extract. And if they succeeded, Earth would shatter. In the underground base beneath the Nevada desert, Colonel Dana Voss stood in the command chamber, surrounded by flickering screens. Atlas satellites had tracked the source of all alien activity, the command ship hovering above the Pacific Ocean, the largest of them all, shaped like a black dagger stretching 10 kilometers long. Every drill, every drone, every ship on Earth obeyed orders from that vessel. Destroy it, and the network would collapse. General Hale's voice echoed from the communication line. "Colonel, the window is narrow. The alien orbit shifts every 7 hours. Once it passes into daylight, it'll be untouchable." "I understand, sir," Voss said, her eyes sharp. "We'll be ready." The mission was codenamed Operation Stormfire. It was humanity's most dangerous plan yet, a direct assault into space. The operation required everything Earth had left. Old space shuttles were pulled from museums and rebuilt into armored carriers. Private rockets, half-finished prototypes, were turned into attack ships. Even decommissioned nuclear subs were stripped from missile cores. Thousands volunteered, pilots, soldiers, engineers, even civilians who'd once dreamed of touching the stars. Only a few hundred were chosen. Their goal: reach the alien command ship, breach its hull, and destroy the control core. Dr. Lin oversaw the scientific preparation. "The alien shield bends radiation and physical matter," she explained. "But it's powered by Aurelium. If we overload it with its own energy, it will collapse." "How do we get close enough?" Voss asked. Lin pointed to a schematic on the hologram. "We ride the storms. Their atmospheric shields cause lightning vortices. If we time it perfectly, we can enter under the cover of plasma interference." "Fly through a lightning storm," a pilot muttered. Voss smirked. "We've done crazier things to survive." Launch day came with no sunrise, only a dull, red horizon filled with dust. At dawn, hidden launch silos across the world opened. The skies trembled as modified rockets roared upward, leaving behind trails of fire. Civilians watched from ruins and rooftops. Children waved flags made of torn cloth. Some cried. Some whispered prayers. In the cockpit of the lead shuttle Phoenix 1, Colonel Voss strapped herself in. Her team, 10 soldiers, 1 scientist, and a pilot named Captain Jace Arden, sat behind her, silent, tense. Arden's voice broke the stillness. "We're really doing this, how?" Voss looked out the window at the burning Earth below. "We've been running long enough. Time to take back the sky." The engine screamed. The ground fell away. The ascent was brutal. Debris rained down from orbital wrecks, old satellites, alien fragments, pieces of ships destroyed in the first weeks of war. Voss's shuttle shook violently as they passed through the storm layer. Lightning flashed outside, white, blue, gold. Every flash revealed glimpses of the alien ship far above, like a mountain floating in darkness. "Contact in 30 seconds." Arden shouted. "Engage interference field." Lin commanded. Static buzzed through the ship. The lights flickered. Alien sensors swept the sky, searching for movement. But the human ships vanished in the storm's chaos. The fleet reached orbit. The black dagger of the alien command ship loomed before them, surrounded by thousands of drones gliding in formation. "Remember," Voss said over the comms, "their shields are alive. Hit the nodes, not the surface. We're not trying to break it. We're trying to overload it." The first missiles launched. They weren't strong enough to destroy, but strong enough to distract. Explosions lit the sky. Alien drones turned to respond. That's when the human shuttles broke formation and dived straight toward the hull. The first breach came from Phoenix 2. A magnetic drill tore into the alien surface, cutting open a section of metal like a wound. Inside was a maze of glowing blue corridors, alive with pulsing light. Voss's team followed through the breach. Gravity shifted, up, down, sideways, as if the ship itself couldn't decide which way was real. Alien soldiers appeared, tall, skeletal, with metallic armor fused into their skin. Their weapons fired arcs of plasma. "Contact front," shouted Arden. Gunfire echoed in the strange, living corridors. Human bullets sparked off alien armor, but a few found their marks. One by one, the soldiers dropped. Voss moved fast, every step calculated. "Lin, where's the core?" "Deeper in. Follow the energy surge. It's like a heartbeat," Lin said, her scanner flashing. They moved deeper until the floor itself began to glow. The walls shimmered like liquid metal. Then they saw it. Hundreds of human bodies, suspended in glass pods, connected to cables that pulsed with blue energy. Lin's voice trembled. "Oh God, they're using them as batteries." The truth hit like a knife. The aliens weren't just mining Aurelium. They were draining human energy to amplify it. Voss clenched her fists. "End it. All of it." Alarms blared through the alien ship. Drones swarmed the corridors. The human teams fought through wave after wave, losing soldiers with every minute. In the chaos, Voss reached the car chamber, a massive sphere glowing with Aurelium light. Inside it, a shape pulsed, the alien command mind, connected to every ship, every machine. Voss planted the charges. "Arden, status." "Shields collapsing, but we're running out of time. Every alien in the fleet is heading this way." Voss looked at Lin. "Can we trigger it remotely?" "No," Lin said. "The signal won't get through their field." "Then we stay," Voss said quietly. Lin grabbed her arm. "You won't make it out." Voss looked her in the eye. "Neither will Earth if we fail." Outside, the alien command ship began to tremble. Energy bled from its hull. Drones spun out of control. Captain Arden's voice crackled over the comm. "Colonel, we're taking fire. We can't hold position." "Go," Voss shouted. "That's an order." Arden hesitated for only a second. Then he pulled the shuttle away as the command ship exploded in a blinding flash. The shockwave tore through orbit, knocking smaller ships out of the sky. The explosion was seen from every continent, a burning star rising above the Pacific. For a moment, there was silence. Then the alien fleet began to fall apart. Drones crashed into oceans. Drills stopped turning. Earth cheered. In the control bunker, General Hale stood before the monitor, watching the data feed. The alien network was collapsing. His voice was barely a whisper. "She did it." But Dr. Lin, now back on Earth, looked pale. "She stopped the command ship." "Yes, but we just detected a new signal from orbit." "What kind of signal?" Hale asked. Lin looked at him with dread. "Something bigger. Something wise. They've activated their planet killer." Outside, the ocean began to glow red. For 12 hours, the world believed the war was over. When the alien command ship exploded above the Pacific, the skies burned gold. People across the globe came out from bunkers and ruins, staring upward in disbelief. The stars looked different now, brighter, freer. In New York, survivors waved flags made from torn shirts. In Tokyo, old temple bells rang again. In Kenya, soldiers hugged in silence under the dawn. For a brief moment, Earth felt human again. But then, the ocean began to glow. It started as a ripple, a red shimmer under the Pacific waves, stretching across miles. Ships near Hawaii picked it up first. Their senses went mad, readings off the charts. One captain shouted into the radio before his signal cut out. "The sea, it's boiling." Within an hour, the glow had turned into a ring, a perfect circle expanding outward. Every satellite in orbit saw it. Dr. Lin, sitting in the Atlas control room, froze as the live feed appeared. "It's not natural," she whispered. "It's a signature pattern. It's alien." General Hale leaned over her shoulder. "Could it be debris from the command ship?" She shook her head. "No, this is something else. This is controlled." A silence fell over the control room as they watched the circle widen, a vast, red halo pulsing like a heartbeat beneath the ocean. Then the data came in. The energy reading wasn't fading. It was growing. By nightfall, earthquakes struck the western coastlines. California, Japan, Australia. The ground shook as waves hundreds of meters high formed in the deep. Dr. Lin ran simulations through trembling hands. "It's not an explosion," she said softly. "It's a weapon." "What kind of weapon?" Hale demanded. Lin turned to him, her eyes hollow. "Something designed to finish what they started. The planet killer. It's charging." Hale's face went white. "How long do we have?" 20 hours, Lin said. "Maybe less." In orbit, Captain Jace Arden and the surviving crews of Operation Stormfire drifted among debris. The stars were quiet now, except for the remains of the alien fleet, silent, lifeless shells. But as the Pacific glowed below them, Arden's gut twisted. He had seen enough war to know when peace was a lie. He opened the comm Atlas base. "This is Arden. We've got a problem. The ocean's bleeding." Lin's voice came through, shaky but clear. "We see it too, Captain. That's not an ocean anomaly. That's a planetary reactor buried deep under the crust. It's waking up." Arden frowned. "Buried by who?" "The aliens," Lin said. "It's been there for years, maybe decades. Hidden under the seabed, feeding off the planet's heat. The command ship's destruction must have triggered it." "So what does it do?" Lin hesitated. "It doesn't just destroy. It consumes. It will pull out every trace of Aurelium, from the crust, from our cities, even from living beings. When it's done, Earth will collapse inward, a hollow planet." Back in the desert base, panic spread through the command center. Evacuation plans meant nothing. There was nowhere to run. General Hale called an emergency meeting of all surviving world leaders, a shaky collection of faces on flickering screens. "We need solutions, not speeches," Hale barked. "If that thing activates, it's over." Dr. Lin stepped forward. "There might be a way to shut it down, but it requires direct access to the core." "Meaning," one leader asked. "Meaning someone has to go into the weapon." Murmurs filled the room. Hale slammed his fist on the table. "We just lost a team in orbit. We're not sending more people to die." Lin met his gaze. "Then Earth dies instead." Hale stared at her for a long moment. Finally, he nodded. "Prepare a team. Arden's still up there. He can lead it." In orbit, Arden received the new orders with disbelief. "Go into the core. You want me to dive into the ocean with a ship that barely survived re-entry?" "Not dive," Lin replied. "Descend. The energy pattern forms a column, like a tunnel. You can ride it down if your shields hold." Arden sighed, rubbing his eyes. "You're asking me to fly into the mouth of a planetary reactor." Lin's voice softened. "I wouldn't ask if there were another way. You're the only one who's been close enough to their technology to understand it." He looked out the viewport at the glowing Earth below. "Fine, but I'm going to need help." Down on the surface, across a flooded coastline, a faint radio signal crackled to life. "Phoenix Base, this is Colonel Voss." Lin's head snapped up. "What? That's impossible." The voice was weak but unmistakable. "I repeat, this is Colonel Dana Voss. I'm alive, pulled from debris by resistance forces in the Pacific Zone." Lin's heart leapt. "Dana, we thought you were gone." "Not yet," Voss replied. "But I saw it, Lin. The weapon. It's buried under the ocean, right beneath the Mariana Trench. I saw drones feeding it energy before my ship went down. They're still there, rebuilding." Lin's hands trembled. Then it's not just charging, it's growing. Voss took a breath. Tell Hale I'm going in. I can lead the descent from here. You'll never make it, Lin warned. Maybe not, Voss said quietly. But if that thing goes off, no one will. The next morning, the world watched as two crafts launched side by side, one from the Nevada desert, another from a ruined island in the Pacific. One carried Captain Arden, the survivor of Stormfire. The other carried Colonel Dana Voss, the woman who had already died once for Earth. Their mission was simple but impossible. Descend into the glowing sea, find the alien reactor, and shut it down before Earth imploded. As the two ships entered the red light of the ocean storm, the world held its breath. Above them, the stars faded. Below them, the water boiled. And deep beneath the waves, something enormous was waking up, a shape larger than any ship, older than any war. Its eyes opened, glowing like molten fire. Humanity thought it had destroyed the alien command. But this was no ship. This was a god they had buried. And now, it was rising. The ocean was no longer blue. It was red, glowing, alive, breathing like a living thing. The water churned with energy that melted steel and twisted reality. Lightning cracked across the waves, and the sky above was filled with falling debris from space, fragments of alien ships and burning satellites, raining down like dying stars. Through that chaos, two human vessels plunged into the storm. Phoenix 1, commanded by Colonel Dana Voss, led the way. Behind her followed Captain Jace Arden and Erebus, an armored shuttle barely holding itself together after the last battle. Their mission was simple: reach the Aurelium core buried deep beneath the Pacific and shut it down before it tore Earth apart. But as the two ships broke the surface, nothing about it felt simple anymore. Inside the cockpit, Arden gripped the controls as the red lights swallowed everything. His sensors blinked nonsense: magnetic storms, gravitational flux, temperatures rising beyond reason. I'm losing instruments, he shouted. Voss's calm voice crackled through the comms. Keep your trajectory steady. Trust manual control. I'd rather trust physics, he muttered. But apparently, that died 5 minutes ago. The sea around them shimmered with waves of energy. Shapes moved in the darkness, shadows that weren't fish. Long, thin bodies with metallic skin gliding just beyond the light. Arden frowned. Voss, we've got movement. I see them, she said quietly. Drones, automated defense units. As if hearing her words, the shadows turned. Red eyes lit up beneath the waves. Here they come. The attack came fast. Streams of plasma sliced through the water, cutting glowing trails. One hit Arden's hull. Alarm screamed. Voss's voice rose through the static. Evasive. They're herding us away from the core. Not happening, Arden growled. He flipped the shuttle hard to the left and released a burst of depth charges. The explosions lit up the deep, for a moment, revealing the massive alien structure below them. It wasn't just a reactor. It was a city, a vast ring-shaped fortress built from black stone and alien metal, stretching for miles in every direction. Towers pulsed with light. Rivers of molten Aurelium flowed through its veins. And at its center, a dark sphere the size of a mountain, turning slowly, like a heart made of glass and fire. The Aurelium core, Voss breathed. It's alive. The two ships dove deeper, evading drones and collapsing pressure zones. Inside Phoenix 1, Voss worked fast. Her face was pale, but her voice was steady. Lin, do you copy? Dr. Lin's voice crackled from the Atlas base thousands of miles away. Loud and clear. You're at 8,000 meters, pressure at critical levels. Then we're close, Voss said. Guide us in. Lin adjusted the feed. There's a breach near the outer ring. You can enter through the eastern conduit. But you have to hurry. The core's energy is spiking. Once it reaches maximum charge, Earth crust will collapse. How long? Voss asked. 4 hours. As they reached the conduit, the red light faded to black. Their spotlights pierced through thick, oily water. The alien walls around them were covered in strange carvings, symbols that pulsed faintly, almost like veins. Arden stared at them through the viewport. Those markings, they look old. Way older than the invasion. Voss nodded slowly. The aliens didn't just come for treasure. They came to wake something that was already here. Her words hung in the silence. Then the walls shifted. The carvings moved, twisting, forming shapes like eyes opening. A voice echoed through the water, not through speakers, but directly inside their minds. You took our power and called it yours. Arden froze. Voss, did you? You mined our blood. You built your cities from our bones. And now you beg for mercy. Voss gritted her teeth. It's communicating. No, the voice said. It's remembering. The walls split open. A giant figure emerged from the darkness, a being of light and shadow, humanoid but not human. Its body was made of shifting metal and molten stone. Its face was smooth, but its eyes burned with white fire. Dr. Lin's voice screamed through the comm. Voss. Energy spike detected. That's the core's guardian. It's sentient. The being raised its hand. The ocean trembled. A massive current threw Erebus sideways. Arden's ship spiraled out of control. I'm hit, he shouted. Engines failing. Voss pushed her shuttle down, chasing him through the pressure waves. Hold on, Jace. Stay with me. The alien guardian turned toward them again. You are children playing with the god's fire. Arden fought the controls. Yeah, well, he triggered his ship's railgun. We bite back. A streak of plasma shot forward, hitting the guardian's chest. It staggered. Light burst from the wound, screaming like a dying storm. Nice shot, Voss said. Don't thank me yet, Arden replied. It's still standing. Inside Phoenix 1, alarms flared red. The Guardian was pulling energy from the core, growing stronger with every second. Voss looked to her left. A small glowing cylinder sat in the weapons bay. The Aurelium Disruptor, humanity's last weapon. A device built from captured alien tech, powerful enough to destabilize the entire core if placed inside it. It would stop the weapon, but whoever placed it wouldn't survive. Lin's voice came through again. Dana, you're almost at the core chamber. But once you activate the disruptor, you'll have 5 minutes before detonation. Voss took a deep breath. Understood. Dana, Lin's voice broke. Don't do this alone. Voss glanced at the cracked photo taped to her console, a picture of her and her daughter, taken before the war. I already promised I'd see her again, she said softly. This is how I keep that promise. As Phoenix 1 neared the central chamber, the core filled the view, a colossal sphere of glowing red light, pulsing like a heart. The Guardian rose before it, wings of molten energy unfurling from its back. Arden's damaged shuttle drifted beside her. Voss, if you're going in, I'm covering you. Jace. No arguments, he said firmly. We finish this together. Voss smiled faintly. Then let's make history. The two ships dove side by side, heading straight for the burning core. Alien drones swarmed around them. The Guardian unleashed torrents of plasma, but the humans didn't stop. They had nothing left to lose. As they reached the heart of the core, Voss ejected the disruptor. The device locked into place, sinking into the molten energy. Lights across the alien city began to flicker. Lin's voice came through one last time. It's working. Energy collapse in progress. Get out of there. But before they could move, the Guardian slammed its hand into Phoenix 1. The ship tore apart. Voss was thrown against the console, blood filling her mouth. Arden screamed through the comms. Voss, answer me. Through the static, her voice came faintly. Finish it, Jace. For Earth. And then the core exploded with blinding light. Above the ocean, the world saw it, a column of red fire rising through the sky, splitting the clouds. The sea boiled white. The planet trembled. For a moment, everyone thought Earth had died. Then, slowly, the light began to fade. The red glow vanished from the waves. The storm clouds began to clear. And from the smoke above the Pacific, one damaged shuttle, Erebus, broke through, trailing fire but still flying. Captain Jace Arden was alive. But Colonel Dana Voss was gone.